Hey guys, I got a box.
I'll show you the box. What's in the box?
Want to know what's in the box?
Oh, what's in the box?
Let's check it out. Now I know that's totally a tease, but before we get into what's in the box, I just want to make sure that I do it right. So this little disaster area back here is where I keep all of my stands. Believe it or not, I used to have all this crap in the studio just hidden tucked behind the bar. What I'm here for are these guys right up here. So I'm just going to pop a little backdrop up here, cover up this mess, make it look a little nicer. Then we'll see what's in the box.
What's in the fucking box?
Shit. You really get what you pay for with these things. If you ever hear somebody bashing on somebody saying, oh, make some YouTube videos, it's easy. It's a lot easier than work. That's bullshit. Slightly better looking backdrop. Check. When these sandbags come out, that's when you know it's getting serious. Alright, you ready to see what's in the box? Ooh boy! Alright, this is it. It's a camera. I got a couple other things in here too. Alright, got this little Manfrotto tripod. This is the Pixie, it's the smart version. It's got a little smartphone clip and basically got this as a little handhold for this camera, and also I can set my phone up on it, do, you know, some fun little B-roll type stuff with it. Last but not least, an extra battery, and they threw in a free memory card. Sweet. Alright, so the G5X. I'm not going to do like a full review of this thing. I'm just going to kind of tell you why I bought it. I probably will do a review when I get back from vacation. I got this camera for vacation. This was my previous vacation camera, the Pentax Q. I think it's the Q7. I love this little guy. It's fits right in your pocket, fits in everything. It's got interchangeable lenses, just super nice. It's got a tiny little sensor, but it's got really high quality for being so small. And I got this in 2014 before we went on a trip to Amsterdam because I wanted something small I could tuck in my pocket. It wouldn't get in the way. It's served me well for years now, except now I'm doing these videos. So that's where this little guy falls short. This little guy does not do great video, unfortunately. So that brings us to this. So why did I choose the G5X? Well, I'll show you. Nobody cares about that stuff. Ooh. Fancy little weird fake cloth stuff. It's a good looking little camera. It's not quite as pocketable as the Pentax was, but it has a lot of features that I need. One thing that I like to do with the Pentax when I was trying out the video is this thing. So this, I don't remember what it's called. It's made by Delkin. And have the hot shoe. So what I can do is I can put this thing up on the top of my sunroof and then really quickly throw the camera in there, and now I can have it shooting out the window in the front I can talk to people while I'm sitting in the car at a red light or parked or something. Just a handy little way to pop it in and out, and then when I want to use it again, I just take it off. I can leave the mount in the car. It's not bothering anybody. I played around with doing that with the Pentax for a little while. I didn't really get the greatest footage though. Like I said, the time lapse in the Pentax was cool, but you couldn't get the shutter speed to be open and smooth. Anyway, let's put all that aside. So the main camera that I got for these videos is a Canon 80D. And that's what we're looking at right here. You can see it's got the little screen there. I got two fingers in this thing. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it's got the little flip out screen, can go any different direction. Got a nice shotgun mic on top, so you get some decent audio. And got a wide lens on it now, but the kit lens that came with it is pretty great for just all around video shooting. It's super stable and goes decently long, also decently wide. Kind of covers most of the bases, and I don't have to pull out my fancier lenses. So this guy is very much like the popular YouTuber camera, the G7X, but it's got more manual controls on the outside, and I like to shoot in manual a lot when I can help it. This has the same flip out screen that you see in the 80D that I'm shooting on over here. Alright, let's see what else came in here. Make this a proper unboxing. So we got a little tether thing, a strap, probably won't use that. Here is the battery and the charger for the battery. All little accessory junk. The least exciting part of unboxing videos. Hey, I said I was going to try out some different formats. This is just one more format to try out. So, it's not as small as the Pentax, but it's still decently pocketable. Got some controls here. Got a dial. This dial will change aperture, I think. You can set it to shutter speed too. Got exposure dial up here for quickly just going up and down, and I think this one up here is shutter speed. I'm hoping these are configurable. I can do what I want with them. Got your zoom in and out right there around the shutter. And then this kind of screen versus the ones that you see that flip out to the top like the G7X has. I like this because if you do want to put it into your pocket, it's not exposed. So, I'm going to be going on vacation very soon with my sister and my brother-in-law and my wife, and I'm going to take this around New Orleans, a little bit of Jazz Fest. Big reason for this is the big DSLR that you're looking at. It's kind of ridiculous to carry around in public. I know people do it, but I don't like that much attention. So I'm going to take just this camera with me. I'm going to leave this guy at home. I'm going to leave this guy up here at home. I'm going to leave this guy over here at home. And gonna field test this thing, see how it goes, and maybe do a full review of the camera later. I know I'm a little behind. This camera's been out for a couple years. They're probably gonna have the G5X Mark II here before you know it, and this thing's gonna be dated, but I don't care. This fills my needs right now, and that's all I needed to do. Some of the things that this has in common with the 80D that make me feel like it's kind of the 80D's little brother, besides the flip out screen that I mentioned being pretty much the same. It's also got amazing stabilization, especially great for a small camera. This camera had pretty fantastic stabilization, but just by the nature of it being so small, every little motion ends up being kind of a big deal. Got a lot of blurry photos. This didn't perform very well in low light. Not expecting this to be a monster at night or anything, but I know that it's got a better sensor and a better lens on it than this one does, and this one's a little bit more designed for video, so I think it's going to do a better job in that regard. All in all though, I can predict now this is going to suit my needs pretty well. So I've been a photographer for a long time, and if you're a photographer, you probably had somebody ask you this question. What's the best camera to get? Is this the best camera? Is this the best compact camera? Is this the best Canon? Is Canon the best brand? No. There is no perfect camera out there. There really isn't. Nobody's designed it. The only ones that come close cost 5-10 times this much. And generally, there's trade-offs no matter what you do. The 80D that we're shooting on here takes great video. It's a great, easy to set up, easy to just run and gun kind of camera. The 5DSR up here that I have, I bought that one as a studio camera. It takes beautiful video, but it doesn't have the flip out screen. It's not the fast mover that the 80D is. It takes super high resolution shots, so I love taking it with me when I'm going to shoot landscapes, and I use it for all my portrait work and all of my headshots. But I can't have it with me all the time like I can a little camera like this, which will allow me to be more spontaneous and do these kind of videos. Up top, we've got the 5DSR. Was that the best camera out at the time? No. A lot of people shot this camera apart because it was basically just the 5D Mark III over again with a higher resolution and then a couple little tweaks. Nothing revolutionary. But at the time, it was the best one that they offer. I knew that the 5D Mark III was great. I considered buying that myself. This was just a way to kind of get myself into that game. Before that, I was shooting on this little guy over here. Well, you can't see it, but it's a Canon T2i. That thing got me through 6 years, and I did pro shoots with that. I did weddings with that. I did portraits with that. I did families and groups, shot all of our events with it. That little sucker has been a trooper. It's a great camera. I didn't like it for when I tried doing concerts and stuff like that because it generally didn't do very well from about 1600 up on ISO. It was just too grainy to use. I guess you could just say I outgrew it at some point. So the next camera I got was the 5DSR up there, the one that's doing the overhead shot. I got that to step up my game because I was doing a lot more headshots and portraits and lifestyle photography, stuff like that on the side of my job as an art director. I didn't outgrow that for the videos, but when I decided I wanted to start doing these videos last year, which was basically something that we decided during that Georgia trip, which I shot on the 5D up here, I realized that the 5D, it's a monster. And I'll tell you what, when I was looking at this, the Sonys on the market were really tempting. There's a couple of reasons I didn't go that route. The first one is I'm already shooting Canon. It was easy to pick up and just learn. But even if I was starting from scratch, I still might go this route. I held the Sony in my hands. It just doesn't have that. It just doesn't have the ergonomics of the Canon. People said, "Hey, you need to get the A7R II because it's so much lighter, and you know you're carrying it around." Well, if you recall in the Georgia vlog, when I put that little note about falling on my ass, I really did fall on my ass. I had just gotten these hiking shoes and they were a lot slicker than I thought, and I stepped onto this wet log and just, legs just pulled right out from under me. That 5DSR slammed into a rock behind me and hit in the small of my back. My back hurt pretty bad that day from that. I figured, well, there's so much for that. It was, you know, nice knowing ya. I tell you what though, you wouldn't know anything happened to it. Not a scratch on the thing. It's a tank. This little guy also seems to be built like a tank. I'm not gonna go throwing it against any rocks in Georgia to find out, but I mean, mostly metal construction. Where it's got the hard plastic, it feels pretty solid anyway. One of the other big reasons that I chose this little guy right here. It's a Manfrotto Magic Arm attached to a super clamp. You can just clamp that down real quick. Put a tripod plate on here. It's being used up there right now. You guys saw how much trouble it was to set up the C-stand with the sandbags, get the 5D up there, and then I can't see the screen on the 5D, so I gotta set the laptop up so that I have the remote viewing because it doesn't have Wi-Fi like the 80D does. Blah, 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 blah. This will allow me to do overhead shooting like this a lot easier. I can pop it up, I can watch the Wi-Fi. This has Wi-Fi just like the 80D. I can watch it on my phone so I can set the shot up right, get it just dialed in there where I want it. And if I don't want to do an overhead here, if I'm out working in the sunroom or over at the computer and I want to do an overhead real quick, then it's really quick to just turn this little dial down here and just pop it into place on the side of any desk. And there are a lot of videos that are going to use that format. Besides these gear review style unboxing, stuff like that, where I might want an overhead. And I'd also like to get back into drawing and share some of that with you guys. Like I've said over and over, I really don't know what kind of channel this is, so I'm going to try a lot of things out. Today that's an unboxing slash gear review slash how to buy the perfect camera video. Tomorrow, probably going to try something totally different. I know it's going to be hard to find the right audience that way, but I think there are a lot of multi-talented, creative people out there who something like this might appeal to. And over time, I feel like I'm going to fall into a groove. And the most exciting thing I could think of to do up front with all of this is to try to take you along for the ride. Try to show you what it's like to set up and do all of these different things. And a year, 5 years in the future, when I'm still doing this, because I will be, because I love it, this channel might be completely different, and it's going to be great for me and anybody watching me at that time to look back and see all of this come together. So maybe you're shopping for a camera. The first thing that you're going to think about is obviously going to be your budget. That's gonna pull some contenders out. There were some nicer cameras than this out there. Cost a little bit more. There's no perfect camera out there, but if you can think through the scenarios that you're in the most often, just see what ticks the most boxes for you, and that's the perfect camera for you. And if you end up like me and photography is a big part of your life, you'll probably end up with a lot of cameras, and you'll probably end up with a significant other, partner, friend, someone, relative, whatever, asking, why do you have so many damn cameras? Well, nobody's made the perfect one yet. So that's it. That's what's in the box. This little guy's called the Canon G5X. I'm going to use it to shoot my vacation in New Orleans, and I'll probably do a more in-depth review of it after that. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I have a feeling it's the perfect camera for what I need right now, but we'll see. So, thank you guys as always for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions about anything at all, ideas for topics you'd like me to cover in videos, my last video before this was done by request. I'm super open to ideas, so please hit me up in the comments, let me know. I could be out here focusing on please like my video, please share my video, and I appreciate if you do those things, but right now I really want to start a conversation more than anything, so I would love it if you guys left me a comment about whatever you want. If you want to keep watching this channel evolve, see what it turns into, hell, see if I manage to stay this random for another couple of years, you can subscribe on the page or on the little round icon that's going to appear at the end. As always, I totally appreciate you guys. Till next time, peace.